Hey, welcome to Sully's Pub. You know, I had a guy in here just last night. You know, he was in his 30s, that sales guy, quota smashing type, clearly knew his stuff. But he looked a little frustrated, you know, like the kind of frustration that only comes from being ghosted for the 5th time this week. You know the feeling, salesperson. And he looks at me, he says, "Sul, I need your advice." I said, "What?" He said, "I kill it on my demos and on my calls, but I keep losing momentum right after. People just seem to vanish on me. They don't follow up on my emails." Of course, I poured him a Guinness at that point, and I said, "All right, hey, you ever write your next step email before the meeting even starts?" He looked at me like I just ordered a tequila for him in an Irish pub, right? He thought I was crazy. He looked at me and said, "Hey, dude, I don't even know what we're going to talk about yet. You're telling me to craft an email before I ever walk in the door?" And I said, "Nah, you might not know what you're going to talk about, but AI knows what you're going to talk about." And then I said, "Get around here." I had a laptop right here. And I said, "Type this in. Hey, ChatGPT, I've got an email with a CFO at ABC company who's looking into solving this type of problem. Draft me an upbeat next step email I can customize in 15 seconds and send right after the call. Include 2 possible times to follow up and a link placeholder." I said, "Go ahead and press enter." Boom. And he looked at it, he's like, "So I do this before?" I said, "Yeah, the machine will give you a skeleton, and in your conversation, you're actually going to tweak that content, right? You're going to have this done before you ever leave their office." And he leaned in. He looked at me. He said, "So I'm beating their inbox before the next fire drill even hits, Sully?" I said, "Exactly. You see, you don't just follow up. You land the plane before it circles the airport." And then I dropped a bomb on him. I said, "All right, let me ask you this. Have you ever tried telling ChatGPT to write the email in your buyer's tone?" He was staring at me. I said, "Yeah, rewrite it like you're talking to a high D, no nonsense operations exec." I said, "Put that in. Make it bulletproof. Skip the fluff." He did it, and it worked. It always works. I told him, "You're not writing emails. You are orchestrating the exit." And he liked that. So he raised his pint, and I said to him, "Finish your drink, because tomorrow you're going to write the post-call note before the call even starts."